So, if you're anything like me, you want to spend the summer getting into art, tapping into your more creative inner child, getting lost in the colors and relishing the artsy vibes summer brings you. The sun is out, and so are your art supplies, gracefully strewn across your desk. So, you buy your first art journal, and there's even a cute little thank you note to validate your impulse purchase. But now you have to actually draw. So, what do you draw? How do you draw? When? How? Why? Who? You probably spend hours scrolling through Pinterest trying to find the exact right thing to draw, but end up just wasting the hours away and never actually drawing anything. And your art journal just remains empty for the rest of the summer. Well, here's what you can do instead. Introduce yourself. It's as simple as that. Introduce yourself to your journal as you would to a new friend, and you're free to make this your own. Ask yourself, what's one thing you wish people would know about you or would want to know more about you? What's that one thing that you wish people would ask you in conversation so you could just spend an hour rambling on about it? This spread is basically just a gateway to get to know you as a person. You're introducing yourself to your journal, and your journal is getting to know you a little better. This feels really dramatic, but I love how dramatic it is because it feels like a new beginning and it feels like forming a personal connection with your journal. You could really make this your own because again, it's your journal spread. You can do whatever you want with it and you can introduce yourself however you want. You have all the creative liberties. If you think you are someone who really likes music and music is something that impacts you very greatly, you can make a spread dedicated to your favorite artist, your favorite music artist, your favorite albums, your favorite songs, and then you can write what each song means to you and why it impacts you. And you can really make this your own. You can also list your favorite books, your favorite movies, your favorite TV shows. You can also combine all of this and just make a favorites page where you list out all of your favorite things that mean something special to you. You can also change this up and make this about your personality, about introducing yourself as a whole, your name, your age, what you like, where you live, the things that you like to do, your likes, your dislikes. You can also treat your journal as your date and this journal spread as your very meticulously designed Tinder bio, where you basically describe yourself and your interests and everything you would want your journal to know before going on this very committed relationship with you. And it would be a successful one because you know for sure this journal is not going to leave you on unread and unopened messages. So it's a win-win overall. And really you can do whatever you want with it. Just introduce yourself and that's what it really is. And what I decided to do was the media that shaped me, which is a very fancy, dramatic way of just saying movies and TV shows that I liked as a child or an early teenager that I think are the movies and TV shows I watched at an age where I was very impressionable and my brain was very mushy, and anything that I watched I just instantly absorbed into my personality, and I think is a correct indicator of who I am. I grew up as quite a lonely child, and my greatest company was movies and TV shows, and those are things that have shaped most of my personality. So I thought this is very true to my inner child to note these down and to make a spread dedicated to this. Here's a few reasons why this is a good spread to start off your journal with. Number 1, you can practice different art mediums. You're probably stuck with your 1 or 2 mediums that you use and you want to branch out to different ones. That was me with watercolors. I really love using watercolors and I'm really comfortable with them, but I also wanted to branch out, start using different mediums that put me out of my comfort zone and made me grow as an artist. To leave the watercolors behind, very sad. Then I decided to move on to different art mediums to try and see if I like them. And I think this is a great way because you can use a different medium for each different piece, and it's fun either way, and you can experiment, and that can get you out of your comfort zone, especially if you haven't been drawing for a while, and you can test out different mediums and it can still be a cohesive piece because you're still sticking to your theme. Here's a list of things that I use. I started this off with some acrylic paints because that was what I wanted to try out and get better with. Hello to my art palette that's incredibly dirty, but I keep it that way because I kind of like the messy artsy aesthetic, and just slapping artsy in front of anything just makes it a million times better. And I struggled quite a lot because I haven't done acrylics at all before this. This was the first time I was trying something like this, so I did struggle a lot, but there was also a lot of trusting the process, and I think they turned out quite nice and I feel a lot more comfortable with acrylic paints. Second were pens and sketch pens. These I use generally to fix all the mistakes I made because I'm much more comfortable with these than with a paintbrush, so I just use these to fix my mistakes, but they came in quite handy. I also use sketch pens and pens as the primary art medium, so I use sketch pens. I experimented a lot before with sketch pens. I don't know how well they make your art result actually turn out, but they're quite fun to use and they're really good for my inner child because these just feel like a lot of fun. So here's me painting Coraline with these sketch pens, and it's quite fun. I also use color pencils, which was quite a struggle as well because I like not really used to color pencils. I'm actually quite bad at these as well because I haven't used colored pencils for a while, and I'm not really comfortable using them as an art medium, but I'm also thinking of getting better with them. This now comes to the second reason, is that these are small pieces to do and they're easily digestible, they're non-intimidating, and you're probably not that scared to mess up because in the end it's a journal spread and what matters is the spread rather than the individual drawings. Does Michael Scott look like an Oompa Loompa? Maybe. But when I look at the spread as a whole, it looks pretty overall. So these little pieces seem to matter less when I look at the bigger picture, and I think with the main focus being making a spread about things you love and having an introduction to yourself, it kind of takes away the pressure of making everything look perfect and freaking about like messing up specific drawings than like a big painting. So it's digestible and it's small and you can like take it bit by bit because you can always like go up and fix it later with details about the spread. Third reason why this is a good spread to start off your journal. You don't have to spend a lot of time on references. Did I spend almost 30 minutes trying to find the exact angle to draw a specific drawing? Maybe. It would definitely take a lot less time than if I was trying to figure out what to draw in the beginning. So just find a particular drawing that you think is easy to draw and fits with the position in your spread and start drawing. And don't waste like a whole hour just like touring through Pinterest, losing a sense of purpose of what you actually started scrolling for. Fourth reason this is a cool journal spread to start on is it makes your journal really personalized. For me, journals feel like a piece of your soul splattered onto a page, and that's really important for me because I think a journal should feel like it should be like your best friend or part of your heart, and when you see your journal spread and like flip back, it should feel like a part of your personality that you had and held very close to. So I really want to make it personalized and feel like my own unique journal. I think this is really fun because especially if you do like childhood TV shows and movies, it's kind of exploring your inner child, exploring things you liked as a child. But also if it's other things like your favorite music or your favorite books, it's just a piece of yourself that you can look back on and you can see the type of books and movies that you liked at a particular time. So it feels really personalized and it feels like a part of yourself. And the fifth reason why is because it's fun, which should be self-explanatory, but I think it's fun because you're kind of investing in something that you like, you're merging two things that you like, you're merging your interest in like media, your interest in TV shows and movies or music, etc., and you're merging it with your love for art. Not only doing art, but you're also like reflecting on your favorite things. The sixth reason is that you can kind of be lazy with it if you want, especially if you're starting out. This can be kind of intimidating to like draw everything and paint every single thing on your page, but you can sort of DIY this and find different things to replace this with. You can use cutouts from magazines and brochures to fill out your page. Here I had this Matilda cutout from an old magazine brochure thing, but I did not be using this, but you can still use this and your journal spread can still look pretty good. So if you're feeling really tired and you don't want to like paint a whole lot, which was me in the end, I sort of got a little tired with the painting part because it's kind of stressing me out. You can just replace that with different cutouts or other things, or you can also like print these pictures out. But I am too cheap for that, and I don't actually want to spend any money on this, even though I'm technically actually spending a lot of money by using the paper and paints, and I'm probably wasting more money by actually using up the paints rather than printing. But that's just the logic I use. And there are different ways that you can get lazy. For example, I use this painting of Chihiro from Spirited Away, which I had drew previously, which you can actually find on my channel. But yeah, I drew this previously. I didn't do any drawing, and it was just a matter of cutting it out and sticking it. So you can also go use like past drawings or just find shortcuts if you're feeling lazy and are not really interested in painting like a whole lot. You can draw like small low effort doodles that are easy to do, like this Arthur one, which took me about 2 minutes, and it was really fun to do and less stressful, and you can just relax with it. Overall, like even if you make really small drawings, overall the spread looks really nice because it's just like a whole lot of different drawings. Also, number 7, you can get really craftsy. Your art journal is supposed to be a lot of fun, and you can use a lot of different arts and crafts and different sort of mediums here, different sort of bits to add on your page to make it more interesting. You can do this on like any different page, any different journal spread. Here are some ideas for some pieces and some different mediums that I used along with it. So 1, I used masking tape. If you are an artist or have an artist in the house or a friend who's an artist, they'd probably have masking tape lying around. So this is really like aesthetic journal-esque piece to add, and then I also like added the date on it in very Indian school class book copy margin style. Again, we're really tapping into the nostalgia here. Also, if you have any advice on how to use masking tape, that would be great, because I never actually figured out how to do it. Whenever I peel this off the paper, it feels like I'm peeling off like 3 layers of skin and dermis and epidermis of the paper along with it, and it just looks terrible. So I'm really confused on how to actually use this properly for like art purposes. So let me know in the comment section if you know more about that. I also added these like cut out flowers from scrap paper I had, and these cut out hearts. Then I also used highlighters to add shadows to the different drawings, which is also very fun and very craftsy. Add little fun bits to your drawing and kind of cool down the weird stress pain that you get from embarking on any creative endeavor that feels very high stakes, even though it's not high stakes, but you think it is because you put an insane amount of pressure on yourself to make it look good, even though literally no one cares. But if you are like that, this can feel less stressful because you sort of lay out everything before you stick it on, so it can feel very calming and fun and craftsy. And this is how it turned out, by the way. This is very fun, spunky, and rad, and all the other outdated terminology that I picked up for God knows what reason. And overall, it was a very fun time. And if you end up making something similar to this, I'd love to see this as well. Like, you can definitely tag me on Instagram. It's definitely a small account there, a very small account here as well. But I'd love to see what you make in case you make something similar to this. And if you're curious about things that I do, we have Sherlock, which is a show that I watched very obsessively, and I internalized Sherlock's personality to my own in very concerning ways. And then we have Game of Thrones, which I watched at a concerningly young age, and I don't know if that had a very big impact on my personality, but I'm pretty sure kids watch very gruesome things very young these days and are desensitized to like concerning media, so maybe that isn't a problem, but that's that. And then we have Harry Potter, which again shaped a concerning amount of my personality. I was obsessed with the books, obsessed with all the characters, and it was like my only personality trait and only conversational topic for years as a child. Then we have The Office, which I love The Office. We all love The Office. It's a great show. We also have Coraline, which was a movie that terrified me as a child, but it's also one that I just think is very aesthetically pleasing, and it's a great movie. And then we have Spirited Away, which is the only Studio Ghibli film I watched as a child, but I loved immensely, and it was very terrifying to tap into the notion of your parents turning to pigs very randomly, but that was a good movie. And I definitely think the soundtrack and the aesthetics are very, very nostalgic, and even when I watch other Studio Ghibli films, because they have the same vibe, they feel very nostalgic. We also have Arthur, which again, another show I watched incredibly, and I think the humor in that show has shaped a lot of my humor for the better or for the worse.
Sorry, Sue Ellen, it's a brother and sister race. Maybe there's a contest for lonely children after this. It's only children, DW. A lonely child is what you're gonna be when I sell you.
I think the show's still on, which is concerning. I don't know what's going on there, but I love the show, and I actually kind of unironically love all these characters who have been eternally in third grade. Then we have I Love Lucy. I love this show. I used to watch this show with my mother, and I love this show. I think it's a great show. It's very comforting, very nostalgic, actually very funny, at least to my preteen, prepubescent brain. But it was very funny, it was very entertaining, and I love this show, and I think it's a very comforting show. It reminds me of my childhood quite a lot. And then we have the Barbie movies, because they're iconic. I love the Barbie movies. Like, every single Barbie movie is imprinted in my brain. I used to watch them repeatedly, obsessively, and they have been integrated into my personality, and I love them. I used to love the animations as well. I have gone back to the animations, and I'm quite disappointed that they do not have the top tier animation quality that I thought they had. I also added little doodles of Disney Pixar movies that I watched. I have other Disney Pixar movies that I love and watched, like Inside Out, like Brave, and like numerous others, but I thought the ones that I watched very young and the most number of times, I think, were the Toy Story movies and Up, and also the Frozen, which loved, was obsessed with it like most young girls were at the time. So yeah, those were all of the ones that I mentioned, and it was very fun, it was very cute. There are definitely other shows and movies that I watched as a kid, but these are all the ones that I thought were important enough and I thought would fit in. And for more art and journaling content, also like comment down below what your favorite TV shows and movies were when you were a kid, because I'm always curious about hearing about that, and I think it's so fun to discuss movies and TV shows just in general. I'm really looking forward to making more videos and making a couple of friends here along the way. Have an amazing week. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week in the next video.